This is One on One. We finally got her in the studio. She is Barbara Corcoran, author of Shark Tales and one of the stars on Shark Tank on ABC, Fridays at
9 o'clock, 8 Central. Come on, put that out there.
Put that out there. And by the way, and I also catch it on CNBC, the reruns,
Yep.
which are just as good.
You can't even tell the difference, right?
It's great stuff. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
How long have you loved what you do in your professional life?
My whole life. I had never had a job I didn't like. I liked the waitressing, the hot dog salesman, the nurse's aide. I liked the whole shooting match. As long as I was working and I wasn't doing reading or writing, I was happy.
Where'd you come from? Where'd you grow up?
Edgewater, New Jersey, which is right across, as you know, the bridge, right? Shot from here, a few miles.
Growing up, were you encouraged to be as entrepreneurial as you clearly are?
No, we kind of got an early education, not on being entrepreneurial, but on holding your part of the bargain, doing the work at home. I had 9 sisters and brothers, so the 10 of us all had jobs. We all helped out with the family. Even when we went out to work, which we were all working very early in part-time jobs. I started working when I was 11, and that was pretty common among all my siblings. And so I don't think I was ever encouraged to be entrepreneurial in any way, but we were encouraged to be independent just by virtue of being 1 out of 10. You don't get a lot of attention from your parents when you're 1 out of 10, and you assume a role in a large family, which is like your own town. And so you kind of grow up a little bit earlier or a little bit more responsibly, I think.
Word is, Barbara, that you were a great student.
A great student?
I'm joking.
Well, good. We can let that rumor rip if we want. Yeah,
Were
yeah.
you a great student?
No, I, of course, was a horrific student.
You were horrific.
Well, I wasn't even a student. Let's put it that way. I showed up at school every day. I didn't learn to read or write till I was 11. I started reading by then, thank God. Now I can read anything, even a difficult book. I guess a slow learner, and I couldn't write. And for me, that was probably the best news and the worst news of my entire life. The worst news in that you learn shame in the classroom, and to be summed up based on something as narrow as reading and writing is such a disservice to a child. But the best news was I hated school. And the minute I got out, it was like breaking out of jail. I went into the real world with so much fervor and enthusiasm just because I didn't have to go to school anymore.
That's where you belonged, in the real world, outside
I
of school.
belonged on my feet, working with people. I mean, for what I didn't have in the classroom, I certainly made up for with my imagination. You know, I invented all the games in my neighborhood. I entertained my siblings. And my work ethic was, of course, direct from my parents, who worked like crazy. And, yeah. So it wound up being a very good thing. Yeah. You know, it really gave me motivation to work hard. Yeah.
We're going to show a clip in just a minute from Shark Tank, but your success in real estate.
Yeah.
All right, talk about it. The Corcoran
Group. Yeah.
Yeah. What year?
I don't even remember what year it was, but I remember I was 23 when I started the firm, and I'm not going to tell you my birthday because I know you're just the type of guy in a suit that's going to do the math and figure out how old I am, which you can get online just by pressing a button, of course. And you can't lie about it.
I know that it was... You're very, even younger.
It was in the 70s, yes. Somewhere there, early 70s. Right. I started the Corcoran Group, and that was fortuitous because it was a point in time when no one wanted to live in New York unless they had to. Corporations had employees living here. I remember as a young broker going to a real estate conference and people finding it unbelievable that I was in the real estate residential market in New York City. They didn't know people lived here. And then I rode the ride up, frankly, which certainly helped my business grow, because the city changed radically from the 70s to what it is now. It kind of went from middle-class working people in rental apartments to your now multi-million-dollar properties on the top of these skyrises right in our neighborhood right here.
When did Shark Tank come into your life? They approached you.
Well, this is our 9th season we're going into in June. We're filming. And that was 8 years ago. I was there from the very first season. They approached me because I was a real estate contributor on the Today Show a couple mornings a week in the real estate bubble, Bad News Prince, so I got a job there. And they just approached me to ask if I'd have an interest in this new show called Shark Tank. I initially thought it was a fishing show. I can't stand fishing. I don't have the patience. But when I learned the nature of the show, I thought, yeah, I'd be pretty good at that. They wanted to make sure I had enough cash to invest. Weird kind of a TV show you pay to play versus you get paid to play.
And the premise is, give people the premise before we take a look at the clip.
The premise is so simple. Entrepreneurs come in with their dreams, young businesses, not mature businesses, and they pitch us for funding. And so we get a chance to question them on air. Our questioning usually lasts about an hour to an hour and a half. But when you see the actual episode edited at home, it winds up being a neat little 6 to 8 minute pitch. And then they either leave with the money they asked for or they leave without it.
No rehearsal, all raw, real.
No, it's all very real. It's called reality TV. Even when we've had on occasion entrepreneurs faint on stage through pressure, it seems terrible that they couldn't just get revived and come back on the set, but they're not allowed to. I'm always told it's reality TV. That's a practice. You can't do that.
Last night I was watching a rerun on CNBC of you and Mark Cuban going at it in a very respectful way, and you had a deal on the table with these 2 young women that were trying to do something, and he did. What did he do with you? Oh,
don't tell me he did the stupid 30-second clock from basketball days.
Yes, he did.
I hate that clock. It puts me under such pressure, and people always go with him. The minute he says, I'm going to give you 30 seconds on a clock to decide, I'm like, I lost the deal.
He did that. That's what he did.
It makes me panic, yeah.
And he always said, but I have such great respect for you, Barbara.
Yeah, what good is that? That's an insult as you go out the door. That's like I asked your sister on the date, but you're really a nice person. That's what that is.
It is very competitive.
Yeah,
This book.
Yeah.
Question, because I'm a student of leadership, I'm a student of business. I'm always in the business of trying to have lessons being offered
I bet you
out there.
can teach more than you can listen.
Oh,
my guess.
One thing I learned is get smarter people on the show than I am. Question, 3 lessons about succeeding in business for men, but particularly for women.
You're talking about businesses of your own? Or
yes,
entrepreneurial stuff, yeah. 3 lessons. I hate when people ask me the 3 this. Okay, let me just tell you what comes to my mind. Number 1, focus on what you do well. So many people start a business and try to do everything from the get-go. I think you really have to know yourself, what your gifts are, and do a lot of it, and try to find some other sucker to do the stuff that you are not good at. That's the truth. That's what makes a great partnership or good delegation. Whereas most people hammer away at everything thinking you have to be good. No, I knew what I was good at building my business. I was great at marketing. I was great at recruiting people. And that's what I did almost from my 3rd year in business only. I focused on that. That would be 1. Focus on what you're really good at. Everybody's got a gift. You just have to figure out what your gift is and hammer away at it. That's what I think.
But you also diversified later on.
In which regard?
Television.
It's all the same. You know what television is? Or at least my role on Shark Tank? It's judging people and recruiting them if you like them. It's no different than what I did at the Corcoran Group. I recruited talent, kept them happy once they were in my stable so that they never ever wanted to leave, because that's expensive and counterproductive. And I do the same thing with Shark Tank and my entrepreneurs. I'm doing the same thing all over again, okay? And marketing, I'm good at that. I can help them with the marketing.
I interrupted you. Second skill.
Oh, second skill.
Tip.
I would say before you go into business, ask yourself how good you are at handling a kick in the gut and rejection, because that is the major card that divides the people that have succeeded very well on Shark Tank that I've invested in and the people who have fallen to the wayside. Some people might have better education, Harvard MBA. They really are intellectually much more capable than the other guy. But I always succeed with the guy that can take a kick in the gut and doesn't have the ability to feel sorry for themselves. It's the ability to feel sorry for yourselves that is the damnation of most people in business, I find. Yeah.
How about this one? I wrote a book on leadership called
I'm so
Lessons.
happy. Let me get away with 2, and I'm happy with it because I can't think of a 3rd, but go ahead.
I'm going to twist it up. I got 30 seconds left. I wrote a book called Lessons in Leadership, the greatest lesson in leadership you've learned. A little bit different.
A lesson in leadership. You can make people rise to the occasion. I learned this from Bernie Mendick, who I was trying to think of a solution to a tremendous financial problem he had as a developer. A great guy, honorable man. And when I couldn't think of the solution, he simply said to me, "You're a smart girl, you'll figure it out." And what do you think? I thought of a phenomenal solution, made $1 million in the depth of the Depression, took him out of his problem, took me out of my problem, and it was just his vote of confidence. I have gotten very acutely wrong English, acutely aware of pushing someone that people are smarter than they think they are.
Well said. Shark Tank can be seen Friday nights, 8 o'clock.
9 o'clock, 8 Central Time.
Well said. Barbara, thank you so much. You
My
honor
pleasure.
us. On ABC.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Rowan University, Josh S. Weston, Virtua, Partners for Health Foundation, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, TD Bank, And by Verizon. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.